Okay, cool. So I just turned on recording. So I think we can. Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Jaflet Wamu. Share my screen, and I will do that now. So while I'm sharing my screen, I think I'll have a few persons here. So for the next 1-2 minutes, can we all just make a brief introduction of our wait first. Anybody like to go first? I can see Gafar's mic is unmuted. Would you like to go first? Hello, Gafar. Can you hear me? Okay, Adamu, can you hear me? If you can hear me, you can get started. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
My name is Adamu Amir Mahmood. I'm here to learn about artificial intelligence, and I'm 15 years old.
Cool. Glad to have you here with us. I'm glad to know that you are passionate about technology at this very young age. It's interesting and success on your journey. At any point in time, if you need my help, be sure to reach out. So, anybody like to go next? I can see Blessing on the call. I can see Adesha going. I can see Joy, Gafa, and Chioma, and Mrs. Olajumoke. So would anybody like to do an introduction? Let's see if anybody is going to come off mute in the next 30 seconds.
Good evening. My name is Choma.
Hi, Chioma. Good evening.
Oha. I'm here to learn. Good evening. I'm here to learn artificial intelligence. I just want something new, something different from what I have done. I've been in the banking sector for some time. I think I should add something new to my knowledge. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Chioma, for joining us. And yeah, we hope you learned something new. Hope to pass something new back to you. Okay, so the others are on mute. Let's hope they get to speak as the class goes on. So welcome everybody. Still confirm if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please
Yes,
let
I
me know.
can.
Glad to have you all with us. This is me. I think this should go to the yeah. This is me. I am the co-founder and CEO at Halita. Halita is a blockchain startup where we build blockchain solutions and help people learn about blockchain. But aside being at Halita, I also love to talk about technology, focused around developer advocacy. That is getting to talk about developer technologies, whether it has to do with Power Platform, or it has to do with artificial intelligence, or it has to do with any other technology. That's the key area I'm focused on. But then, aside this, I also love talking about artificial intelligence because it's an amazing field, literally amazing. It gives you the opportunity to, do build amazing solutions, automate processes, and do lots of other amazing things. I work with teams across Africa and globally to build vibrant tech communities. Now, in this class, which is going to run for 5 weeks, I'll be taking you through artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will be focused on Microsoft Azure. So we'll be seeing how you can build your AI solutions making use of Microsoft Azure. But just before we get started, for this class, we are going to run through um, a brief introduction of artificial intelligence and some of the concepts that we are going to be learning. If you noticed in the Teams channel, which was created for artificial intelligence, I shared the link to the Azure AI Fundamentals Learning Path. Now, the Azure AI Fundamentals Learning Path would give you all of the details you need. So the things we'll be learning in the course of this 5 weeks class, you will get to see them there. And then you could go on even before the class to go over them, because 5 weeks would realistically not be enough for us to cover every single concept. But once you have learned them on your own, once you have been able to try as much as possible to understand this concept, it's easier. You know, it makes learning. You come to class and then you have lots of questions. It's interactive than me just having to talk. At any point in time, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute, cut me short at any point in time, and then I would try as much as possible to answer your questions. Key thing about this class, I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. So at some point in time, I might not know an answer to your question, but one thing I would assure you is that whenever you ask a question and at that point in time I don't know the answer, I would go back, find the answer, and come back to you to give you an answer. Probably an exact answer, or probably something that will help you learn more. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, aside this class, if you have any questions around the week, you can post them in the channel. Once I come there and I see them, I'll try as much as possible to respond to them as much as I can. Cool. So let's get started. What's artificial intelligence? Big question. And when we get to talk about artificial intelligence, people get to have different misconceptions as to what artificial intelligence really is. Something to note, artificial intelligence is not automation. And I think I mentioned this in the introductory class last week. Artificial intelligence is not automation. So, what one idea people have is artificial intelligence basically has to do with if statements. That's what people think. So, if this is this, if A is equal to 1, do this. If B is equal to 1, do this. And then you have so many ifs or if else statements or else if statements. That's what people think artificial intelligence is all about, but that is not what it is. It encompasses more than that. It's not just about doing things being able, machines, systems, solutions, being able to do things by themselves, but they're able to carry out some key features. Something to note, artificial intelligence is the ability of machines. This time, we are not just talking about machines, it could be software solutions, it could be applications, it could be anything, as long as it can replicate different human features, different human abilities, then we can proudly say that solution, that machine, that software, that application is artificial intelligence. What are these key features? Let me know if I'm too fast, so that I could go a little bit slow with this. Now, first, we have the speech. Humans can speak, humans can understand what another person is saying. Machines too, softwares too, have the ability to do this. There's what we call natural language processing. In natural language processing, you have what basically it enables machines to do is to process whatever is being said. It could be text, it could be in form of words, it could be written or spoken, and then it processes them and translates them or does whatever it needs to do with them. For example, you have your text to speech, something written out in text, it converts it to speech, it reads it out. Interestingly, you have on websites nowadays, you have a feature where you can read out, and most applications, that focus on diversity and inclusion have text-to-speech softwares or embedded systems that enables this website or the application or the solution to read out text so that people can hear. Then we have speech recognition. I'm saying something, the machine, the software can pick my voice and say this voice belongs to this person, this voice belongs to Jaflet. And then let's say Chioma says something, it also picks what Chioma is saying. We have speech to text recognition. For example, on Microsoft Teams, you go over to your Microsoft Teams, you find the ellipse, that is those three dots where you have share and where you have other things there. Um, so if you are using the Teams mobile application, you have it at the top of the call. You have more option under more options, and then you should find something like turn on live captions. Now that's an example of speech to text recognition. So exactly what I'm saying, it transcribes it. It more of translates it in real time. So somebody who is finding it difficult hearing can read it and still understand it. Now, this does not have to do with an else statement. It is not an else statement. It's not an else if statement. Somebody did not program this. Okay, it was programmed, but somebody did not tell it, this is how you do this is how you do this. It focuses on the next part, and generally all of what we're going to learn with artificial intelligence focuses on what we call machine learning. Now, when people hear of artificial intelligence, they think artificial intelligence is machine learning, or they think artificial intelligence, machine learning is there's artificial intelligence inside of machine learning. But inside artificial intelligence, one of the parts of artificial intelligence is machine learning. What is machine learning? Just as humans can learn, just as humans can read a book, and when they read a book, they can understand what it's saying and write an exam or do any other thing. That is how machines can also learn. It could be written content, it could be speech, it could be whatever. It could be pictures, and in terms of visuals, it could just be anything. And then they learn from this. Now, when building a machine learning solution, they are what we call models. Now, first you have to create a model. What a model means is you are training that machine learning solution. So once you have given it, you have given it data, you have given it tons of data, tell it, let's say these are pictures of apples, these are pictures of mangoes, these are pictures of bananas, these are pictures of, you upload all of those in form of a data set. And then what the machine does is, with the details you have uploaded to it, it finds key features between these different fruits. So what makes an apple an apple?
Good afternoon. Sorry for the interruption. Please, I can't hear you well. Can you increase your
Can you hear
volume?
me clearly now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So machine learning, uploading all of those, what it tries to find key characteristics. What makes an apple an apple? What makes a banana a banana? Oh, an apple is round. It's probably it's either green or it's red. I've not seen a purple apple. I've not seen a yellow apple. Don't know if you have, but then it tries to find those key characteristics. And then you have banana. Banana is yellow. Green shows it's unripe, but then you could still have some green bananas. Um, okay, so let's say green and yellow for bananas, and then let's say which other fruits are we uploading? Let's say cucumber. Cucumber is usually green, not very dark green, but yeah, green. It's kind of should I say spherical in shape and all of that. It takes use of those features and then it use them to create what we call a model, more of like a pattern. Once it has done that, it is able to do all of those. It's when you need it, when you call it out, it's able to use all of those things that's seen and learned from to carry out whatever you need it to carry out. And then humans can converse, we can talk with each other. I can hear you speak, you can speak to me, and then I understand. You could type something to me, and then I understand what you have typed to me. This part of artificial intelligence is known as natural language processing, and there are two key areas. Now, the two key areas is uh, chatbots and bots. Now, let me explain the difference between both of them. Very little difference. Don't know if you have noticed it, but here's the difference. Chatbots basically has to do you chatting with it. You know, um, Majorly, we have it on websites. Hi, I'm this. I want to do this. Oh, okay. It tells you just basically it has been programmed to act that way. It has been programmed to do that. It's usually most cases used in form of question and answers. Uh, Ask a question and the bot responds to your question. All of that way, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But bots do does more than that. For example, let's say you submit specific details, and what it will do is pick those details and submit them to a database. And then once you need to get those details from the database, it calls them out for you. It could be something like you carrying out a transaction just by chatting, not just question and answer. Just by chatting, you're carrying out a transaction. You're transferring a huge sum of money over to somebody somewhere just by imputing the person's details. Conversation, but it does more than just chatting. So take note of those key difference or the key difference between a chatbot and a bot. And then humans we can see colors, we can see different things. I can know the difference between who else is on the call. So let me see. So I can know the difference between Adeshegum and Gafa if I see them physically. I can know the difference between Ife and Blessing when I see them physically. Sight. Even if Gafa tries to act like Joy, I would still know, oh, this is Gafa. That is what computer vision, which is an aspect of artificial intelligence, enables machines or softwares to do. Key features or key examples, you have your face recognition softwares, your mobile devices. You can unlock your mobile device just with your, once you impute your face, you can unlock your device. And then you have you go into a bank, or you go somewhere and then the security camera detects your face and opens the door. All of those computer vision. How does it work? We'll get to learn about it, get to learn about some key things that the computer vision system takes note of. And then we have what we call anomaly detection. Anomaly detection. Now, in anomaly detection, it's more of you, should I say, trying to find, detecting errors in systems. So what's something this difficult? What's different here? What's different in this system? What is changing? And once you're able to understand that, it's way your machine learning or your AI solution is able to do this. Okay, so I'll pause for a little bit at this point, just before we go on, and I would wait if there are any questions you could ask here, just before we go on and explain a little bit more about all of these concepts. So I'm still waiting. If there are questions, you can ask now. I'll wait for like 1 minute just to be sure nobody has any question.
Hello, thank you, Japlet. Could you please recap what the difference between chatbots and bots, please? Thank you.
Okay, so I say key feature. A chatbot is used majorly just for chatting. Question and answer. Your question and answer. You ask the bot a question. Majorly on websites, you ask the question, how do I do this with this, and that? And then it gives you an answer immediately. That's a chatbot. But then, if it does more than just answering your questions, then it is a bot. It could do things like helping you with a transaction. To do things like helping you book your flights here. without having you type in it. Just tell it, I want to book my flight, this is that, and that's a bot. It does more sophisticated things than just chatting with you and answering your questions. More like a human, a virtual agent, a virtual assistant.
Okay, so that means those should I say AI is on bank's website, as in UBA has a particular UBA Financial has a particular, so they could be referred to as bots, not chatbots. Those
Yes,
what do I
they
call
are
it?
referred to as bots. Depending on what they do, they can be referred to as bots.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any more questions?
Good, good evening, sir. I have a question.
Okay. Yes.
So, if you know that an AI system,
Sorry, I
speech to
missed.
text, like,
Okay.
yeah, what's the difference? I want to ask, what's the difference between the bots that, like you explained earlier? It could be also a text. It could also be a speech recognition system. Like it identifies your voice, like you give it an instruction to do something. So, what's the difference, sir?
I can't hear you clearly. It was breaking from my end. Can you please like go over it again?
Okay, let me use my.
Or you could type it in the chat. I think you should have
Is it
access to
clearer
the
now?
chat. Yes, it is very clear.
Okay, I was asking. You said we can give specific instructions to the bots to do whatever we want for us, like book a flight and all. What's the difference between that and maybe our speech recognition and like our text to speech too?
Okay, so now key difference between that is the bot is answering the question basically by you conversing with it, typing it. You are not making use of speech. You could also make use of speech. You could make use of text, but then
Okay.
it's carrying out that activity for you. Now, text to speech is converting what is written is
Okay.
text, is reading it out for you. Speech to text, what I'm saying is with my words, with my mouth, it's converting it to text.
All right.
Do you get? Do you get the
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so one last question, just for go on.
Good day.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There is this app on my device. It's Cortana. Is that also an example of a chatbot? Because when I speak to it, like if I call its name, it will answer. And no, I was late. I didn't join early, so I wanted to ask, see if a device like Cortana is also an example of chatbots.
Okay, so now major difference again, I'll reiterate it. Chatbots does chat, like conversing, just you chatting with it. That's what they do. But a bot does more than that. You can speak to Cortana and Cortana responds to you, right? Like you said, you call, okay, Cortana, do this on me, and blah blah blah, all of that, and it does it for you. That's not
Yes.
a chatbot. I
Okay.
would say it's a bot because it's doing more than just chatting.
Okay. Yes.
Cool. Great. So and yeah, try not to miss any point at any point in next class, so you can go along with us. Cool. So let's go over to next part, and this time we're talking about machine learning. Now, in machine learning, as we mentioned earlier, the machine is learning. The machine is understanding what's happening, all of that. Now I'm going to play a video for you, and that explains a little bit more. Then we'll talk about the video to explain more of how machine learning works. So I'll just reshare my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can see your
Yes,
screen.
sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Can you also hear the sound?
No, but I
Can
can
you
see
play it
it.
again?
Let me reshare again. I guess it should work now.
Artificial intelligence
Can you hear the
helps
sound?
us meet the needs of today,
Yes, I can hear it now.
so we're prepared for tomorrow.
By 2050, we need to produce 60% more food. So how are we going to feed the world without wrecking the planet? Using Microsoft artificial intelligence, we can reduce waste and produce more food. Any grower will tell you every row, every crop is different. We can use Microsoft AI to make local predictions about light, wind, rain. This helps farmers know when to plant, irrigate and harvest. It's making a difference.
Artificial intelligence helps farmers grow more while wasting less.
Cool. So I hope you all got that. Did you all understand what the video was about? Like, did you hear it clearly? Or true?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, notice some key things about that video explaining what machine learning, which artificial intelligence is all about, being able to make predictions, being able to understand how when farmers can plant, the right time for them to plant, the right time for them to, the particular crop they need to plant, and all of those other things in between. How does machine learning work? Machine learning works with the use of data. Now, whichever part of, as I mentioned earlier, machine learning has to basically do with your machine learning. And humans can learn by reading a book, they can learn by seeing things, they can learn by, how else can we learn? Any other way, but we can learn. The same way your machine learning solution, I mentioned earlier, I'm reiterating this, mentioned earlier that these machine learning solutions or these AI solutions get learned by what we call models. So models is you feeding it with data, telling it how it should be, feeding it with your apple, this is an apple, this is a carrot, this is all of that, bringing all of those together. So data is the key part of machine learning. Data is the key part of machine learning. Take note of that. Data is the key part of machine learning. Data is the key part of artificial intelligence in general. Machine learning is the foundation of artificial intelligence. So all of the artificial intelligence solution focus or get to, encompass a little bit of machine learning or major part of machine learning. Now, in our world, there are tons of data released every single time. All of what the algorithms, when we talk about algorithms, we're talking about the patterns, the things that happen. It could be it's an algorithm that is going to, okay, let's take a very simple example that is going to predict the particular items for you. For example, you go over to Jumia, you notice when you go over to Jumia, you search for an item, you go over to Konga, you search for an item, you go to AliExpress, let's say on Jumia, you search for a laptop, you go over to Konga, you search for a laptop, you notice that when you go on Facebook, you would receive ads related to that. That is a machine learning algorithm. It has studied the patterns, it has studied the trend, it knows, oh, this is what this person is doing, this is what this person most likely needs. And then with that, it's, gathers all of these different things. And when it has gathered it, it's able to carry out specific action. Or then your phone has realized that you tell your YouTube application to remind you in 30 minutes. It start taking note of the individual time you spend on videos, and when it's up to 30 minutes, it pops up and tells you it's 30 minutes. All of this is data. So your machine learns from data. It could be in your house. Let's say you have nowadays you have IoT, Internet of Things, that enables tools, enables um, your refrigerator, enables your light, your generator to do things on their own. Probably you just have to speak to it, or you just have to, it just follows what we call patterns. So for example, let's say I'm in my room and I'm sneezing. It has learned from data that it has been given that when someone sneezes, if the person is probably having cold. And so what it does is it reduces the temperature or in the room, probably turns off the AC, or it does something else to make the room hotter for me. Or in my refrigerator, I'm out of milk, and I'm prompted on my mobile device that I'm out of milk. Data that has been gathered enables all of these solutions to work. This is a very practical example. This is moving a little bit fast, but notice the trends. Let's go over it again. Number one, you give it different, you input different plants, and then let's go over it again. This giving it different plants. Number two, you are labeling the different plants. Number three, it's training. Number four, it's you now test it. And once you have tested it, it is able to bring out the results in number five. Again, number one, you are uploading the data to it, giving it the different plants. Number two, you are labeling these different plants. Number three, you are training it. Number four, you are testing it out, and then it gives you your response. Data that has been uploaded to it gives you the results. Okay, cool. So I've talked about artificial intelligence, machine learning. In future classes, we'll get to learn about machine learning, how it works, see how you can build your machine learning solutions, making use of either Microsoft Automated Machine Learning System or your Azure Machine Learning Designer to work around this. Now let's quickly go over to natural language processing. As mentioned earlier, I said natural language processing has to do with your... Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think somebody was trying to say something.
Sorry, sir, that was it.
Okay, do you have any question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So quick one. No need for the sir, just Jafflet. Jafflet is fine. So I love it. Thank you very much. So yeah, just say, hey Jafflet, I have this question. Jafflet, I have this, and then I'll get a response to it. Now, I mentioned earlier natural language processing, that your machine or your system has to do, tries to understand either written or spoken language. So I write something to it in terms of text, and then it understands it, and it's either responding or translating it to speech, or I've spoken something out in speech, and then it's bringing out as a result for me to text. Could be any way, could be visuals, you know, uh, no, but it's basically, sorry, it's written and spoken, not visuals. Visuals is computer vision, pardon me. Now, I'm going to play another video for you that gives a practical example of what natural language processing does. Again, let me know if you can see my screen, and if you can hear the sound clearly. Can you see my screen? Can you hear it yet? Oh, I think I forgot to share the sound again.
We can see it, but we can't hear.
Yes, let me do that now.
We can't hear.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
can
Yes.
see.
How often?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
we
let me
can hear
start
now.
from the beginning again.
So think about this. How often are you alive when the dawn of a new medium comes out? I knew that I had to be a part of VR because there are no rules for what VR should be. Starship Commander is a choose your own adventure VR narrative that uses natural language processing so you can actually have a real conversation with the characters.
I'm Sergeant Sarah Pearson. I've been assigned to your wing today.
When we started making Starship Commander, we had to figure out how do we get technology that can understand what a person's saying so that we can have these new narrative experiences. We're a science fiction game. We come up with new words. No off-the-shelf software could let us put in custom words.
Who are the Acnians?
In our story, the bad guys are called the Echnians. And every time we said Echnian, it would come up with really weird words that were similar to other things that you would say. And so it would get confused all the time. So we needed to make sure that we could supply our own script. We started using Microsoft Cognitive Services to power the back end of Starship Commander.
Looks cool.
Once we plugged custom speech service into Starship Commander, I had tears in my eyes when I was playing it because it's like, oh my God, this is it. This is the experience we want. Open the hatch.
Voice print accepted. Welcome, Commander.
You can essentially put your script in there and it knows, oh, these are the ways that people are going to talk. And these are the phrases that they're going to say.
Cool. What's my mission?
Must be something pretty important.
And then the second thing, too, was the intent detection. With Lewis, you basically give it a couple statements. After you've given it a couple statements, you crunch it and you start typing in your own statements. And it's shockingly scary how good it picks up, even stuff that you didn't put in there.
Computer, use autopilot and let's be on our way.
Autopilot engaging.
I've never seen an opportunity like this, where there's a wide open playing field. No one's written the rules yet. There's going to be tons of amazing software out there, and I just can't wait to see what other people write.
Okay, quick one. How cool was that?
It was very cool.
How cool was that?
It was
Super
really
cool,
interesting.
right?
Great.
Very interesting.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Good to get that response. That's artificial intelligence for you. Now, natural language processing. Conversing with applications and all of that. That's natural language processing. Okay, cool. Let me share my screen again, and then let's go over to the next. Any question on this? We talked about machine learning. We've talked about natural language processing. Any questions? Okay, so I guess the silence means there are no questions. So let's go over to the next, computer vision. Now, earlier at the beginning, when explaining what computer vision is about, I said computers can see things just as humans can see things. And I mentioned, give examples of some persons. I can remember Gafar, I can remember Adamu, I can remember Blessing, I can remember Joy, I can remember Ife Ajayi. I'm not checking through the people on the call, but I'm able to remember them. So whenever I see these people physically in a room, even though I'm sleeping and somebody wakes me up and I have seen them a couple of times, I don't forget their faces. The same things your machine can do them. Now, in computer vision, that's basically how it works. And I gave an example for your I talked about your facial recognition softwares, and all of that. Now, some key things to note. In computer vision, we have different parts. computer vision, we have what we call image recognition. We have what we call image classification. We have what we call object recognition. We have what we call object classification, and then we have what we call object detection. I hope I don't mix up these five. Now let's explain them one after the other. Image recognition. Now, your image recognition, you give it an image and it tells you what is in an image. Tells you what is in an image. Image classification, it classifies the different things in the image. So let's say I have an image of a car. A, okay, let's say I have an image of a car. Let's say a taxi, and it tells me, oh, this is under the label car. Let's use our bananas. Let's use our fruits. I have my apples. I have my this and that and that, and it tells me this is classifies them. This apple, this, that. Object detection. I think that was the next I mentioned. Image classification and object classification are almost the same thing. Then object detection, there are multiple objects in an image, 100 objects in an image. It detects them one after the other. Now there's what we call a bounding box. It's a square. It places it on the object, and then it tells you this is this object is this. Under the box, it's like tells you what that specific object is. Get to see it, as you go on in class. Now, object classification. In object classification, it classifies it. Okay, I think I mentioned it earlier. Image classification and object classification. Now, in object recognition, what it does is it recognizes the different images in this in a particular image. Recognize different objects. Recognize different objects in a particular image, but then it might not classify them. Like it might not, it will not have that bounding box, except it's an object detection solution. Another one we have, I think I exhausted the five. I don't know if I'm missing one. If I'm missing one, please let me know. Then we also have what we call semantic segmentation. Now, in semantic segmentation, it identifies the different images, like different objects or different items in that specific image. This is majorly used. Now, computer vision is majorly used for self-driving cars. Very common example. You notice in a self-driving car, it goes on and goes and goes and goes, and then there's somebody, let's say 20 meters away from the road, and what it does is it notices that that person is very close to the road. What does it do? It stop the car stops automatically. That is object that's detected that that person is close, and then with the aid of computer vision, it's able to carry out that. And then yeah, basically that's how self-driving cars work. A very common example, which I'm going to show you in this next video, so I'll share my screen again, is an application called Seeing AI. So where is my screen? Cool, over there. Let's hope I don't forget to share sound this time. Just in case I forget to share sound, please let me know. Now notice from Seeing AI how it makes use of artificial intelligence or computer vision to carry out the specific tasks that it needs to carry out. Can you see my screen? Can you hear? I've not started playing yet, so you might not hear it. But can you see my screen?
AI is a Microsoft research project for
Could you hear it?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear.
people with visual impairments. The app narrates the world around you by turning the visual world into an audible experience. Point your phone's camera, select a channel, and hear a description. The app recognizes saved friends. Jenny near top right, 3 feet away, describes the people around you, including their emotions. 28-year-old female wearing glasses looking happy. It reads text out loud as it comes into view, like on an envelope. Ken Lawrence, P.O. Box, or a room entrance. Conference 2005. Or scan and read documents like books and letters. The app will guide you and recognize the text with its formatting. Top and left edge is not visible. Hold steady. Lease agreement. This agreement. When paying with cash, the app identifies currency bills. $20. When looking for something in your pantry or at the store, use the barcode scanner with audio cues to help you find what you want. Campbell's tomato soup. When available, hear additional product details. Heated microwave bowl on height. And even hear descriptions of images in other apps like Twitter by importing them into Seeing AI. A close-up of Bill Gates. Finally, explore our experimental features like scene descriptions to get a glimpse of the future. I think it's a young girl throwing a frisbee in the park. Experience the world around you with the Seeing AI app from Microsoft.
Okay, so I don't know if this was as cool as the one we saw about starships, but how cool was it?
So it's okay.
Yeah, I still found it very interesting. A
Okay,
more
okay.
practical use of it in everyday life.
Yeah, exactly. Practical use.
But is that application really, does it exist?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it
So
does.
Because the common one I
okay.
use is the narrator.
Yeah. So
Right.
unfortunately, it's not available to Android users like me, but it's available to those who use iOS, iPhones, and all that. So you could try it out.
Okay.
And I don't know how the accessibility or is for Nigeria, but then you could also try it out. And yeah, probably in the next class you could tell us how it works. Cool, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
I guess we can go on now. Let me share my screen again and let's move. So the next part we would be focusing on is conversational AI. Now, this is where your bots come in. Also makes use of natural language processing. Natural language processing to understand the things, the details. Great. So we explained earlier the difference between your chatbot and a bot, or a virtual agent, or a virtual assistant. But let's stick with chatbots and bots, so we don't, have too many things. Common examples: your Leo UBA. Which other one do we have? I know that's the most popular. Which ones have you seen? Tell me about the ones you've seen or heard of. Cortana.
I think this guy from Uber. I can't remember.
Okay. Cool. So Uber has theirs.
Yeah.
Ziva. Ziva for Zenith also has.
Silver for Zenith. Okay.
Uche from Bolt, I think.
Uche for both. Okay. Okay, I guess that's all. Okay, so probably we'll need to create one for this class. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Somebody could decide to take it as a project to design one for this class or design one for their business or all of that. So let's say, is anybody here called Junior? Check. So nobody beats me at the end of. Cool. So nobody called Junior. So we could say Junior for AI class textilers. Cool, right? Let's hope
Yeah.
somebody gets to take that as a task. Basically, conversation AI, not difficult. It's easy to understand. But let me show you a video. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and share again. Again, don't forget your role to tell me if you can see the screen and if you can hear me, if you can hear the audio. Don't tell me if I just end up watching the video till the end and then you get to tell me. Are we good to go?
Yeah, I can see the screen, but I can't hear any sound.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, I've not started recording. So
Okay, you can
use
hear.
cases of conversational AI. Key use cases.
Yeah.
Cool. Key use cases. You have been able to set up an appointment with a doctor. So setting up an appointment with your doctor. It could be, like I mentioned earlier, it could be carrying out transactions, booking a flight just by having that conversation with your bot. That's that. Okay. We've talked about machine learning. We've talked about natural language processing. We've talked about conversational AI. And I think we have left anomaly detection. So where is my share screen feature? Right. Share my screen again. Now, in anomaly detection, let me know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can.
We
Now,
can.
what's happening in anomaly detection is being able to find faults, being able to find out what is happening with this system. Why is it not going on? Why is it not behaving the way it's supposed to behave? Why is the head skipping? What's happening to it? Anomaly detection. What are the abnormalities in this system? For example, my machine prints this number of items per minute. But now, let's say it prints 50 per minute. But now it's printing 30 per minute. What is happening? Or it used to be very bright. Whatever it prints used to be very bright, but then it's no longer as bright as it used to be. What is happening? Could it be there's no more ink, or could it be one of the inks are exhausted, all of that? So it tries to find out those abnormalities. It could be for a banking application. Let's say on a normal basis, I do 3 transactions in a month, like 3 transactions. Let's say 3 huge transactions. Let's say 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, and then in a month I buy airtime 5 times. That's 8 times literally in a month. But then it notices that in 1 month, or even in a week, I have bought airtime 20 times, and I have done like 5 different transactions. The system might be triggered and say, this might not be Jaflet. Like, how come is Jaflet buying airtime? He buys airtime 5 times in a month, and then he's buying airtime 20 times in a week. Could it be that his credit card has been stolen? Or could it be somebody has his information and is trying to, act like him, and then it triggers an alarm? Might not be an alarm in terms of alarm, but then it pops up, and then it's easy for the solution to know, oh, okay, there's something wrong with this. Then those in charge of that system are able to carry out whatever measures needs to be carried out. That's basically anomaly detection. In most cases, it could be sensors. So you could have a sensor. Let's say I have my system, and like we mentioned earlier, okay, cool example. Like we mentioned earlier, it runs out of milk, or it's no longer, your refrigerator is no longer as cold as it used to be. It's cool example, beautiful, cool example. Your generator. When you are out of oil in your generator, or when your generator is out of oil, you notice there is this, I think is it red or green? I can't remember. But then there is this light that blinks. Do we get that? That's an example of anomaly detection, but this time the artificial intelligence solution gets to do it more often. This is an example. Notice in this car, in the first image, it runs through, it goes through a specific section. Let's say it goes back and forth very quickly. In the next, it goes through that same section even more, and then the last part, it goes through that specific range or that specific section way more than it used to. And then what the system will do is it triggers, and it notices that there's something wrong with with our car, with whatever it is. Cool. Now these are the 5 things we will be focusing on, the 5 parts of artificial intelligence we will be focusing on in this class. Okay, so just before we go further, any questions for me? Any questions for me? Any questions? Anybody saying anything? Okay, so I guess there are no questions. Probably you all are trying to think of your questions.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, can we see that as a troubleshooter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any more questions? Now, for the remaining parts, I want us to talk. We have talked about the different features of artificial intelligence, or different sections of artificial intelligence. And one thing we have heard, I didn't include this in my slide. Now, one thing majority of people get to talk about is people would one day build an AI solution that will kill all of us. Or people will build an AI solution that will do this and this and this and that. Well, there are AI solutions that cause harm. I won't lie to you. Whatever has been created by humans also has its disadvantage. Whatever has an advantage definitely has a disadvantage. That's the truth. But then, I don't know the possibility of it destroying the whole world. What do you think? Let's do this for 5 minutes. Unmute. What do you think? Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. Like, even like the like if you just get a few drones and then give them facial recognition capabilities, and then just say, go to this place, and when you see the person with this face, just attack him, it would be a really easy thing to do.
Yeah, true, right? I remember a use case that was, or an example that was mentioned some time ago, where a facial recognition solution, which would detect, which would detect more of criminals, yeah, detect criminals in a specific building, and it was used in the US. And then when it was the US Senate, something like that, I can't really remember. And then when members of the the Senate, the House came in, it detected them as hoodlums, as criminals, instead of detecting them as people who were in the Senate. So imagine such a system was designed in such a way that once it detects somebody is a criminal, shoots that person or kill that person. Just imagine what would have happened to those people who were not criminals, but then just because the system detected them to be criminals, they were criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it might be like, okay, let me just rest. Let me not do AI again.
Yeah.
Let me go and look for something else to do, right? Kafar, you want to see something? I'm all ears.
Yeah, that boils down to the intricacies surrounding AI, and that is in terms of the programming and the maybe basically the machine learning languages. If you have created a system, maybe an AI that cannot differentiate, or that do not have specific languages to actually detect and distinguish between a criminal and a parliamentarian. So I think it is a fault on that particular program on itself.
Yeah, you can say that it's a fault on that. It's a fault. Definitely, it's a fault from the model. The model was not properly built, or
Exactly.
it was not as effective as possible. But then, machines are not human. Not humans, are they? Humans can make mistakes. Now think about machines. Machines can make mistakes. They will make mistakes. They would go nuts at some point. So now take note of something. Let me go a little bit into computer vision and talk a little bit about computer vision. Now, the way computer vision works is for it to identify a specific person, it takes note of the distance between persons. For example, my face, the difference between both of my lips. Let's say the difference between, or the distance, sorry, the distance between the length of my eyebrows, and taking note of all of those little details, very little details. That is the reason why a popular saying we
So
have
I
heard.
wanted to
Okay, I can hear you.
actually wanted to make a contribution.
Okay, cool.
But well, I think with the way things are going right now with artificial intelligence and all, it's looking like the human race will soon phase out. Because other than the documentary I saw, I think last year or so, Into the Age of AI,
Hello, can you still hear me? I don't know if it was
Yes,
my
yes,
end.
we can hear
But
you.
also, okay, okay. I guess it's not from my end then. Um, so Tamu,
um,
we lost you at some point. Hello, Tamu,
yeah,
can you hear me?
I'm so sorry, sir. Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Sorry, my network got interrupted by a call.
Okay, I can hear you now.
So I was saying that I think it was a system built for Go. You know, this Go that is being played like a chess, and they had to bring like the best Go player, and the AI system defeated the Go player, and they were all wondering, like this was, well, we expected this to happen, but the rate of win was largely apart. And I also saw instances where, okay, like I think Tesla is trying to build a robot in form of a human form, like in a human form, to help do a lot of things that humans can do. And I think I read another article where there is a replacement of fuel, and like the gases we use, electricity and all, with um AI systems. So it means that the normal things we do, the normal gas, ethane, and everything that we use for support and to survive will not be useful anymore. So it looks like the human race is facing now. I think um I thought of sharing that.
Cool. Thanks for sharing those. So the possibility of machines, AI solutions wiping out the human space. Well, okay. So I think I should pause there. But then there are rules that have been set up, and Unit 8 of the first module outlines those rules, those principles. So before Tamu, okay, some persons are still. Anybody wants to say anything? Okay. Sudden silence. I guess they mistakenly unmuted. So just before Tamu mentioned his point, I was talking about facial recognition, and I was giving an example. Now, there's a popular saying, or there's this popular thing people get talk about, and they say, women, when they, sorry to the women here, that's what people say. When women are not on makeup and they do, they unlock their device without makeup, and then they are wearing makeup and they can no longer unlock their device. Or they are wearing makeup and they make use of a facial recognition software, and all of a sudden in the night, when they have wiped all of those out, they can't open their phone. Right? Now, what makes that happen is your AI, the AI model or the machine learning model has taken note of all those features. So what is the color of your face at that point? Are there dots on your face? Let's say you unlock your device, or you make use of the facial recognition software in the middle of the night when you have washed your face and there are those black spots. And then in the morning or in the afternoon, you are out already with your makeup, looking beautiful. Your device is unable to unlock because your machine learning model has taken note of that. So in the same case, that software or that solution that was used for the parliament pictured those details. But there might also be similarities between people. Depending on how the AI solution or system is built, there might be similarities, and it takes note of those similarities and uses them. Now back to what we're talking about, how on what artificial on rules that have been set up, or some principles that have been set up. First, we have fairness. And what fairness means is that whatever artificial intelligence solution is being built should be able to treat everybody without bias. Everybody should be treated the same way. So everybody should be able to make use of that AI solution, basically. You know, that's the first thing. So if I'm building an AI solution, it should be able to do that. That's the first. Now, next, to have reliability and safety. What that means is it should be able to perform whatever characteristics it is performing reliably. That is, I should not just wake up and without proper testing bring out reveal an AI solution to be used in public. So I have to make sure, very sure, that it has been tested multiple times to ensure that there are no faults in it before I recommend it to people, before I give people access, before it goes out in public, before people are given access to make use of it. Another one we have is privacy and security, which is very, very key. Now, in privacy and security, it should not reveal information about myself or this time about the user that the user does not agree or the user does not give, the user does not say should be reviewed. So not giving access to insight about the user that the user has not agreed to. And then we have transparency. So whatever AI solution I am building, I should be able to say, this is what the AI solution will do. This is the data it will collect from you. This is what you can use it to do. This is what it will do. Not at the end of the day when I'm using it, I realize, oh, okay, they are stealing data from me or all of that. And then you have accountability. The designers and developers should be accountable. They should know that whatever happens while making use of their software is their fault. They would not try to transfer faults to others. And then finally, we have inclusiveness, which has to do with everybody being able to access it. So it's not restricted to people who are just in a specific area or specific gender or ethnic group. Everybody should be able to access it. The truth is, there would always be people who would break these rules. But as long as there are these rules and we all try to follow these rules, we're rest assured that we can build AI solutions that would be able to empower people. That'll be able to empower lives and help to and stuff. So it's not as scary as you think it would be. Whenever there's a problem, there definitely would be probably a solution. So when we get to that point, we are almost getting to that point. We are almost at that point, but then hopefully there will be a way to figure around that. So what have we talked about today? In this class, we have focused on the key parts, the key components of artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, conversational AI. We've talked about computer vision and anomaly detection. And now we've talked about some of the principles that has been placed on ground to make sure artificial intelligence solutions does not one day kill all of us. Now, if you have access to the team's channel, the artificial intelligence and mixed reality channel, you would take notes that I sent a message and I posted a link to a learning part. That is the learning part we would be using throughout this course. And at the beginning, I mentioned that we would not be able to complete every single thing. The reason why I'm here is to guide you, not to sit you down and teach you this is A, this is B, this is C. No, you own your own learning. So I'll come here, explain some of the concepts as long as we have time, and then we'll go on from there. Our classes would last from the next class would last for 1 hour, 30 minutes / 2 hours, depending on how well we're able to go. For our next class, we would be going over machine learning, and we will be building a machine learning model. If we have time, depending on how fast we go, we would be able to cover that. So if you go over to the Azure Learning Fundamentals, that link I sent, we've covered the first part, which is get started with artificial intelligence. Next week, we'll be focusing on explore AI fundamentals. Explore Azure AI fundamentals. Sorry, let me confirm that. Yes, explore Microsoft Azure AI fundamentals, explore visual tools for machine learning, visual tools for machine learning. And under that, we have using your automated machine learning in Azure Machine Learning. You have creating a regression model with Azure Machine Learning Designer. You have creating a classification model with Azure Machine Learning Designer. And then we have a clustering model. Now, in between the week, I'm going to tell you which one or two of these we are going to focus on. These are 5 different modules. We would not be able to take, 4 different modules. We will not be able to take all 4. So we'll be focusing on either 1 or 2. Now it's up to you to go over and complete the rest. And then in the coming weeks, it goes that way. So we can, do lots. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to ask at any point in time. I'll try as much as possible to answer the questions. Okay. So I guess we've come this far into this class. Any questions just before we go?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So, with the principles you explained concerning privacy and security, transparency, accountability, and the rest, what happens to people who have these AI systems that does the reverse of what it's meant to do for humanity? Well, we know, like you explained, you already mentioned that there are obviously people who want to, who have ulterior motives to do the reverse. But it means that for us to have these principles, they are the other side. What happens to those people? For example, we have like a bot, a system that, let's say, trades cryptocurrencies for people, and I think somehow I heard something that said that these bots have a way of stealing cryptocurrencies from people, using like maybe their wallets or transactions they make somehow. Well, if we already know that these principles should be a part of the AI system, then why do we have to like get to the other side? And what happens to the people that do that? Is there like a system
Okay, so
that can help us cop that?
now when building solutions using services such as Microsoft Azure or IBM's AI service, they have rules and principles that guide what they do. They have rules and principles. So if I'm building something on Microsoft Azure, before I can pull it out to the public, Microsoft Azure system would make sure it meets all of those criteria. Same with IBM and same with all other large organizations. But then, building artificial intelligence solutions is not just, in most cases, you don't really have to make use of these organizations. I can use code and build my AI solution and pull it out to the public. So in that case, there are authorities that have been set on ground that ensures whenever those type of solutions are found wanting, or those AI solutions systems exist, they are sued for what they do. Does that answer your question? Did I answer
Yes,
your
sir, you
question?
have.
Okay, cool. Any other question? Any other question? Anybody has any other question? So one last thing is we also need to have projects to work on. We should have sample projects to work on. So as we've run through these 5 different parts of artificial intelligence, you should already have in mind, what am I going to build with machine learning? What am I going to build when we get computer vision? What am I going to build when we get conversational AI? What am I going to build when we get to anomaly detection? What am I going to build? Just have those in mind so it's easier for you to learn. That works, right? Again, this is your learning journey. I'm just here to assist you. You own your learning journey. So try as much as you can, put in your best to make sure you are practicing as you go. At any point in time, if you have questions, you can reach out. Just in case I am not on, okay, you can reach out to Microsoft Teams. I hope I'll check frequently so I can respond to your questions whenever I see them. Great. So if there are no questions, I guess this is the end of class. See you again next Saturday by 4 p.m. Don't forget to come early to class. Okay, somebody's on meeting. Okay. Somebody try to.
Unmuted.